Man, this feels great. Now, normally I would feel kind of bad about something like this. Oh, the GM has a plan and he went out there and tried to set out that plan, but now we're immediately talking smack about that plan and saying why the GM's foresight was wrong. But this is the good kind of taking back what we were saying, because when it comes to the plan for Jack Rathbone, we had ourselves word from, I believe it was Rick Dollywall. I might be misquoting whoever it is actually said that if it's not Dollywall, but we had ourselves word that the entire idea that the Vancouver Canucks had with their management and their roster organization was that Jack Rathbone, current AHL guy, former Vancouver Canuck, he played a few games here and there because he was filling in, but he's currently in Abbotsford. The plan was for him to mostly just stick around in Abbotsford, no longer play any Vancouver Canucks games because they wanted to go out there and let this guy marinate in the AHL a little bit more. Not that he was completely not ready to play in the NHL, it's just, with the development and with the way the team is playing right now, the Vancouver Canucks that is, there's no real need to go out there and expose a player who is on the development curve like this to pretty much what the Canucks have in store, which is going to be a tire fire sale, hopefully, which is going to be a few more losses here and there, hopefully, which is going to be the team getting 40-plus shots against sometimes. Hopefully not. Yeah, see, there you go. There's a little toss-up right there. But Jack Rathbone has gone out there in the past week and a bit of AHL play and shown off why the plan that Alvin and Rutherford set out for this guy might just be cut short a little bit sooner than we would have expected. Because if you go over to Jack Rathbone and take a look at what this guy is up to, he was named recently the AHL's Player of the Week. And the reason for that is because in his most recent 4 games played on the week, Jack Rathbone has 10 total points. My goodness, he's got himself a crazy point metric right here. Of course, it's highlighted by the 5-point night he had against Tucson, that in which we did discuss, where he had a goal and 4 freaking assists. But if you take a look at what he did after that, hey, 5 points in the next 3 games worth of play certainly is not bad either. In fact, he's on a pretty good point streak right now, because if you go back to February 4th against STK, what the heck is that? Is that the Stockton Heat? I think it is a Stockton Heat, yeah. He had himself an assist in that game as well. So Jack Rathbone in his last 5 games played has 11 total points, and it's good enough to put his entire regular point production up to a pretty astounding level. In fact, before we go over the entire profile here, let's just say, 19 points, 18 games played right here in the AHL. He is over a point per game in the American Hockey League as a defenseman, and he is only 22 years old. This is what Cam Robinson said about the production of Jack Rathbone so far. Here's the list of AHL defenders who have a higher per game rate than 22-year-old Jack Rathbone with a minimum of 18 games played. No one. There aren't any. Call him up. So, Rathbone right now is arguably the best defenseman in the entire American Hockey League. I mean, in point production, he certainly is. And so, this is the kind of guy that has gone out there immediately after we had ourselves the word, okay, they want to put him in the AHL, they want to keep him there. He's gone out there and produced at a 2-point per game rate, bringing his total point production to over a point per game. He has had a 5-point game, and just some of the goals, some of the highlights that we're seeing out of Rathbone over the past few weeks have been spectacular. Obviously, it's all the assists on the power play. He's passing it around. He's taking one-timers, whatever. He also has himself a few goals where he takes the puck in along the left side half boards, uses the open space available to him, dekes to the backhand, and chips it over the goalie's shoulder. And a lot of these highlights, a lot of the things that we have been seeing out of Rathbone have started opening my eyes as to just the overall talent level this guy possesses, and how there's a reason why there are so many people calling for this guy to get called up, right? A lot of Canucks fans in the comment section of Instagram, on Twitter, hey, call up Rathbone. What's Rathbone still doing in the AHL? The guy's gone out there with so many points, AHL Player of the Week. Give him his chance. Why not? And I'm starting to feel the same way too. Because just seeing the offensive capabilities that this guy has, just seeing the talent and the confidence that he has sort of displayed in the past week and a bit here, it's really started getting me thinking about what else the Canucks have on their blue line. Because It's been no secret that throughout the entire season, holistically, that's what I'm meaning here, the Vancouver Canucks blue line has not really been the best when it comes to creating offense. Now, sure, Quinn Hughes throughout the year has been fantastic. He has been a lot better than he was last year, especially defensively, while also producing offensively too. We get it. Luke Schenn has gone out there, scored a few clutch goals here and there. He's been, oddly enough, really boosting his own trade value, so good for him. You have OEL, who in the recent absence of Quinn Hughes has stepped up, but when I'm referring to the entire season, you cannot say that the Vancouver blue line has been the best offensively. And you still have yourselves a bottom pairing-ish sort of rotation between guys like Hamonic and Burrows and Brad Hunt. The left side of this team, when healthy, is Hughes, OEL, and then X. Fill in that X with whichever player you want to insert, so maybe a Hunt or whatever. Jack Rathbone is a guy that could potentially add some offensive dynamism to the bottom of these D pairings. Now, I get it, you could go out there and say, do we really want an offensive dynamo on your bottom pair? Because that's normally like the shutdown physical kind of pair, right? You have the offensive guy in Quinn Hughes up top, and you have OEL who's playing somewhat of a shutdown role too, and then he's also playing second power play time. Is it even worth it to give Jack Rathbone an opportunity at the NHL level if he's only going to play third pair? And that's kind of where you start to think, okay, at what point does this become enough? Because Quinn Hughes is signed here for a long time. OEL is signed on this team for a long time as well. Jack Rathbone is supposed to be, in a lot of people's eyes, a long-term option too. And so let's say 2023, 2024, 2025, all these guys are still on the roster and they're supposed to be the de facto first, second, third left-handed pairings. At what point do you say, Jack Rathbone, just come up here and we'll play you on the third line or the third pairing regardless? Because you're not dethroning Quinn Hughes at any point in the next few years. He's going to be that number one player on the blue line, and I don't think anybody disagrees with that. OEL, he's playing a shutdown role so far, he's stepping up in an offensive role while Quinn Hughes is out, but his overall level of play, especially in the defensive zone, has been pretty solid. When is the point that you go out there and say that Jack Rathbone can overtake an OEL or just be good enough to play on the third pairing? Because you're going to have to make that decision at some point. These guys are going to be the only guys sticking around here. You're not going to have Brad Hunt playing on the third pairing at the Vancouver Canucks forever. So you're going to have to force at least one of these guys, Rathbone or OEL, onto the third pairing at some point. Why not go out there and say, Rathbone, you're much too good to be playing in the AHL right now. Sure, the Abby Canucks love you, and they're very welcoming to your services, and they really do like having you on the team, but you're on to bigger and better things now, bud. So that's kind of my perspective on the entire thing. Talk to me in the comments, what do you think about Jack Rathbone and when he should make the Canucks, when he should be a full-time member of the Canucks. Not the de facto, okay, everybody is injured, everybody's got the virus, and so we need to call up players from Abbotsford. Rathbone, you happen to be the first guy up there. Not that kind of thing. But at what point do you say, okay, it's going to be Quinn Hughes, it's going to be OEL, it's going to be Rathbone, or it's going to be Quinn Hughes, it's going to be Rathbone, it's going to be OEL? At what point do you make one of these two guys, Rathbone or Oliver Ekman-Larsson, the third pairing guy? You could argue that OEL should stay on the second pairing because he's making such a high amount of money, and he's really started to find his offensive stride recently in the absence of Quinn. But for Jack Rathbone, at what point does that opportunity and the potential that he has supersede what we've already seen out of OEL? So let me know in the comments all your thoughts about this entire conversation here. The guy's gone out there with 11 points in his recent 5 games, 4 games played, 10 points on the week, so he's the AHL's player of the week. He's been phenomenal so far with the Abbotsford Canucks. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.